went off. It was Sunday morning again. I was tired. It was my one day to sleep in. But the guilt that I would have for the rest of the day would have been too much. So I'd go, I'd pray. I showered and shaved, adjusted my clothes, got there, and as I swung around into the main aisle, just in time, bowing my head in humble prayer, and before I closed my eyes, I saw the shoe of the man next to me. It was touching my own, and I sighed. With plenty of room on the other side, I thought, why do our souls, meaning our feet, have to touch? It bothered me so much. He was glued to my shoe, but it didn't seem to bother him much. And then the prayer began, Hey Bhagavan. Someone said, Jai Bhagavan. And I thought, does this man with the shoes have no pride? And they were dusty, they were worn, they were scratched from one end to the other. And what's worse, there were holes on the side. Jai Bhagavan, thank you for your blessings. The prayer went on. And the shoe man who was standing next to me, he said a quiet Shanti. Praise God. And I tried to focus on the prayer, but my thoughts were on his shoes again. Aren't we supposed to look our best when we come to a place of worship? When we walk through that door? Well, this certainly isn't it, I thought, glancing towards the floor. And then the man ended. All the prayer and songs started chanting again. And the shoeman was loud, sounding proud as he sang. And he lifted almost the roof of the church, his hands raised high. And I thought maybe the good Lord could hear his voice from the sky up above. And then the offering was passed, Aarti some say. And what I threw in was pretty good. It was steep in the Aarti. But the shoeman reached into his pocket so deep, and I tried to see what he was going to pull out and put in. And then I heard a soft clink as a silver coin hit the bottom of the thali. And the pravachan, the lecture, had bored me to tears, and no lie, it was not the same for the shoeman, for tears fell from his eyes. And at the end of the service, as is custom where I worship, we must greet everyone and say namaskar and bow to them almost as a sign of respect and good cheer. But I was moved inside to want to meet this man. I wanted to meet him. So after the closing, I went and I shook his hand. He was old, his skin dark, his hair was in a mess. And guess what? I thanked him for coming anyways, for being our guest. And he said, my name is Charlie. I'm so glad to meet you, my friend. And there was tears in his eyes. But he had a wide smile though. Let me explain, he said, wiping his eyes. I've been coming here for months, but you're the first person to say hello to me. You're the first person to say namaskar. And I know I don't look like all the rest of you, but I always try to look my best. You know, I polish my shoes before coming to this place of worship, but my long walk. But by the time that I get here, they're as dirty as chalk. Dear friends, my heart fell. It fell to my knees. But I held back my tears, and he continued, I must apologize for sitting so near. But I know when I get here, I must look in a particular way. And I thought, if I touched you, my friend, if I just touched you, maybe your soul will impact on mine. Dear friends, I was silent for a moment, knowing anything I said would pale the comparison of what he said. Because what he said didn't come from his head, but it came from his heart. Oh, you've touched me, I said, and taught me in part that the best of a man isn't what is necessarily only in his heart. The rest, I thought, this man will never know how thankful I am that he touched my soul. Dear friends, remember, everyone needs a friend. Someday you might feel like you have no one close to you at all. But just remember this very simple story. All it requires is touching the life of someone else. They may not look like you, talk like you, walk like you, behave like you. but allow the good Lord to operate in wonderful ways in your life. And when you allow your life and other people's lives to touch, even for a moment, you never know what a touching of souls, literally or figuratively, what difference it can make in someone else's life.